The Turkish journalist Tolahan Teklioglu says that there are 4 Saudi hospitals treating the wounded terrorists along the Syro-Turkish border. Several terrorist groups are defeated and their weapons destroyed to the west of Yabrud and the northeast of Al-Nabik and the east of Deir Atiyah. The town of Sadad in the Homs countryside buries its martyrs during a mass in the Mar Ilyas Church of the Syriac Orthodox in Fayruza town. Good afternoon, welcome to our news bulletin. I'm Dania Nizam. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov discussed by telephone with his American counterpart John Kerry the current preparations to hold the Geneva II conference. He also telephoned the international envoy to Syria, Mr. Al-Akhdar al-Ibrahimi. He stressed the importance of the efforts of Mr. al-Ibrahimi to form a united delegation representing the Syrian opposition to join the dialogue with the government, in addition to securing the participation of all the main regional states. The two sides agreed to continue their joint efforts and consultations concerning the conference. These efforts include the consultative meeting in Geneva on November 5th between Russia, the US and the UN. Mr. Ibrahimi briefed the Russian foreign minister about his tour to several countries in the Middle East and his contacts to prepare for the Geneva conference. The Iranian Assistant Foreign Minister for Arab and African Affairs, Mr. Hussein Amir Abdullahian, asserted Iran's readiness to help find a peaceful solution to the crisis in Syria. He said that Iran supported the spirit of the Geneva Statement of June 2012. Iran is ready to contribute to the success of the Geneva II conference and to preserve the interests of the Syrian people, even if Iran did not join this conference. He stressed the necessity of ending foreign support for terrorism and desisting from sending weapons to Syria. A sham hotel in Damascus witnessed the start of the work of the General Exceptional Annual Conference of the Bar Association under the motto, Lawyers and Arabs Defending Syria's Rights, Sovereignty, National Unity, the Rule of Law and the Independence of the Judiciary. The conference will discuss the internal regulations of the Bar Association and amending the United Financial System. Its agenda also includes discussing the annual report of the Council and approving the draft budgets of 2014. The involvement of Erdogan's government and Saudi Arabia in supporting the terrorists in Syria was exposed by a Turkish newspaper which revealed the existence of Saudi hospitals to treat the wounded terrorists along the Syrian-Turkish borders. The Turkish CNN TV channel telecast questions and answers about the affairs of Syrian refugees at the border, which was shown to be full of armed militias and the chaotic spread of weapons, which would have negative effects on Turkey itself. Many Turks raised their voices against the flood of terrorism into Turkey. The Turkish writer Kenan Şamaracı wrote in an independent Turkish magazine that fanatic terrorism began to spread like cancer in southern Turkey. He asserted that the Turks killed in Syria exceeded the number of those who died in the Afghan war in the past 10 years. The deputy leader of the People's Republican Party, Erdogan Toprak, asserted that all the countries of the world have lost confidence in Turkey and begun to avoid dealing with it. Turkey was thus isolated in the region because of its cooperation with extremist terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda and Jabhat al-Nusra. Units of the Syrian army today defeated the last terrorist groups in the eastern quarter of the town of Sadad They destroyed terrorist hideouts, weapons and ammunition in several areas of Homs and its countryside. The Syrian Arab Army continued to chase the remaining terrorists in the adjacent quarters. The army destroyed vehicles full of weapons and ammunition used by the terrorists along the highway between Al-Hafr and Hawarin. The terrorists were trying to infiltrate into the village of Hawarin to support the terrorist gangs, which sustained heavy losses at the hands of our valiant armed forces. In Homs, several terrorists were killed and wounded in the quarters of Bab Houd, Al-Qsur and Al-Warsi. The town of Sadad in the Homs countryside, which was attacked by terrorists a few days ago, buried the victims of the attack in the town of Feiruza while its people asserted their adherence to their homeland. In solidarity with the people of Sadad and all those kidnapped by the terrorists as hostages, a mass was held in the Syriac Orthodox Cathedral in Damascus, where candles were lit. A unit of the Syrian Arab Army attacked groups and hideouts of armed terrorists in several areas of Daraa and its countryside, killing and wounding dozens of terrorists, mostly of non-Syrian nationalities, and destroying the equipment of their crimes. The army attacked terrorist hideouts in the displaced people's camps and several areas in the Daraa countryside, killing and wounding dozens of them. The army also destroyed vehicles full of terrorists, including Mohammed Faris, Minhal Shaddad, and dozens of their followers belonging to non-Syrian nationalities. In the eastern Hama countryside, a unit of the Syrian Arab Army cooperating with the people of the village of Al-Arshona captured a lorry full of rockets and various weapons and detained the terrorists in the lorry. In the countryside of Latakia, units of the Syrian Arab Army attacked the hideouts of the gangs of the so-called Jabhat al-Nusra and the Islamic State of the Levant and Iraq, which belong to Al-Qaeda terrorist organizations. A unit of the army destroyed the storehouse of rockets and various weapons and defeated terrorist gangs in the villages of Al-Qantra. The dead terrorists included Imad al-Din al-Julani, Abu Ahmed al-Iraqi, Abu Anas al-Hawrani, Ahmed Malik al-Nuaimi, and al-Hajjaj al-Tagilbi. Our valiant armed forces also killed and wounded many terrorists in the villages of Al-Qindasiya and Al-Sukkariya, including criminals from the Philippines, Azerbaijan and Tashkent. The army also defeated a terrorist gang in Al-Rawda and another gang in the area of Taurus. The Assistant Regional Secretary of the Ba'ath Party, Mr. Hilal, and his accompanying delegation visited the temporary resident centre in the Qudsiyya suburb. They also toured the streets of Jaramana in the Damascus countryside. They reviewed the situation of the displaced people of Al-Mu'addamiyya and the assistance they were given. They also listened to the demands of the citizens in the city, which was subjected to repeated terrorist attacks. Mr. Hilal pointed out that the terrorist crimes against the city showed the bankruptcy of the terrorist criminals. Minister of Health Saad Naif asserted that the ministry imports the vaccines needed for the national campaigns of vaccination from the best international companies and provides them for free for all the children. During his tour on the health centre of Qudsiyya and the temporary sheltering centre at the educational compound upon launching the national vaccination campaign against measles and polio diseases, the health minister said that these campaigns are a continuation of previous campaigns which were given before during this period, which witnesses a spread of diseases. The minister said that during the campaign, 1,600,000 children are to be vaccinated against polio. 800,000 of them are school children. The campaign continues until the end of the first term at school. In Turkey, police arrested 24 demonstrators in Kaysalay in Ankara. The demonstrators had went out into the streets in support of the students at the Middle East Technical University, where fierce clashes erupted between Erdogan's police and the students who were calling for Erdogan's resignation. A month of protests at the Middle East Technical University continued in parallel with protests at Kazai Park against Erdogan's plans to destroy the secular state. The Minister Ministry of Culture, in collaboration with the Union of Arab Writers, inaugurated a seminar entitled Contemporary Syrian Theatre in order to discuss ways and means of developing the Syrian theatre and restoring its elegance after the plight of the current crisis. The Minister of Culture, Mrs. Lubna al-Mushawwah, asserted that our theatre has overcome the difficulties of the current situation and begun to present new shows. This seminar was aimed to encourage the audience and to revive the usual glow and attraction of our theatre. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching us. For more details about Syria and the region, you can always view this bulletin again on syriaonline.sy. Thank you for watching again. It's over to our new financial and business news with Vani after the break.
Good afternoon. The trainees in the National Institute of the Public Administration at the Ministry of Finance visited the ministry's headquarters to take a look at the ministry's strategies. The trainees' remarks focused on the state's financial plan and its role in the economic and social development in terms of income and redistribution. The Minister of Industry discussed with the members of the General Federation of Trade Unions the ways to overcome the obstacles that are facing the companies. They also asserted the importance of providing the local markets with the goods that are produced by the public sector, in addition to increasing the sales outlets to rerun the companies that became out of service. The commercial bank amended some service commissions that are related to the Syrian pound and foreign currencies. The bank set the commissions for all the accounts of the exchange companies with the rate of 1 per 1,000, while the commission of gas station owners was set at 6 per 10,000. The manager of the Syrian company of processing grapes in Sueda Governorate announced that the company has transferred 90 million Syrian pounds to the Farmers Federation in the Governorate to grant the grapes price to the farmers. On the other hand, the total marketed quantities of grapes in the company have exceeded 11,000 tons, with a total cost of 40 million Syrian pounds. And now over to some main currencies exchange rates according to the bulletin of the Central Bank of Syria. With this, we conclude our news. Thank you for watching and goodbye.